Hello, and welcome to another episode of Movies That Make Us. I'm Jake, and as you'll notice, things are a little bit different on this particular episode of Movies That Make Us, and I'm going to tell you why. Number one, you'll notice I'm all by myself. There's no Val, no Tracy. The whole show is not going to be like this. It's the week of Thanksgiving. Stuff is going on. People have visitors from out of town, other things happening, other things going on. And so, really, we just didn't have time to sit down together and record a new episode for this week. But we didn't want to leave you hanging. We are bringing you something, some kind of content. And so, what we've done is we are putting together an episode that is a callback. Well, not a callback, it is a previous episode, episode number 40, which was called The Best Thanksgiving Ever. We reviewed a movie called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which may be the best Thanksgiving movie ever made. There's not a lot to choose from, but that is one that is probably a classic. Not probably, it is a classic. And so we talked about that. This was back in 2019. This was our first year together as a podcast. It was only 40 episodes in, so we're still kind of getting our legs. But I think it goes pretty smoothly. I think it's a pretty good episode. So we are going to give you that episode. We're uploading it as an audio episode again. So it'll be episode 163, but it's really just calling back to that episode number 40. And for the first time, it will be on our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to watch it there. There's not an actual video. It's just going to be still frame from here on out once I stop talking and we actually play that episode. So it's a little bit different. I hope you understand why we're doing it this way. It's just because things happen and we still wanted to give you something. But we would be remiss if we didn't take an opportunity this Thanksgiving to say what we're thankful for and what we appreciate, especially about our listeners and our viewers, because we are very grateful for you this year. And we're grateful for you every year, but this year in particular, the way you guys all showed up at FanX this year, we filled a panel room. And I know some people came just because it was Spider-Man, but there were plenty of you that were there looking for our show and excited to see that panel because of us. And we appreciate that. And we appreciate that kind of support. We also want to thank you so much. We've had two different events this year where we were trying to raise money for the American Cancer Society. We did a Sharknado screening, which was a lot of fun at Broovies in Salt Lake City. And then we did just this last Friday night, a Disney trivia night at the Midway Tavern. We are so grateful for those of you that showed up and were able to be there and we're able to donate. We're able to get some raffle tickets. And really, we hope you came out and had a great time as we did the Disney trivia. It was a lot of fun. The great news there is because of those events, in part, because of your generous contributions to the American Cancer Society, Tracy was able to reach his goal of hitting $5,000 raised for the American Cancer Society before he goes running in January. He's doing the Dopey Run at Disney World this January. If you don't know what the Dopey Run is, he'll hopefully I got this right. He's going to run a 5K, he's going to run a 10K, and then he's going to run a half marathon, and he's going to run a marathon all on consecutive days. So it starts on a Thursday, goes through Sunday. Each one of those days, he runs a different race. He's doing that. He's done that for the last couple of years. We're really excited for him and wish him all the best. But thanks to you and your generous contributions and your generous support, we were able to raise, like I said, over $5,000 to help him in his efforts and to help fight cancer and to help fund cancer research. This has been a great year. We are so grateful for all of you that have listened and that have stuck with us and that have supported us, that have shared us with your friends. It is so great to run into people that have listened to the show and enjoy it and recommend it to others. We just really, really appreciate it. Without any further ado, we are going to move on to this episode. It was episode number 40 originally. It was called The Best Thanksgiving Ever. You're going to hear our original theme. I've got our original logo up in the corner here, you can see it right there. That's our original logo. We changed that, I believe, in 2021. And same with our theme song. I believe that was also late 2021 that we changed our theme song. So you're going to hear the original. We've got the original logo going here. We hope you enjoy this episode. We hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. There's a lot to be thankful for, a lot to be grateful for. And we hope that the end of 2022 is as good as the rest of the year has been. And we hope that we have a wonderful slide into 2023. We will be back next week with more new and fresh content. But if you like this kind of stuff, let us know. We can archive. We've got a bunch of episodes that never made it onto the YouTube channel that I'd be happy to go back and create some videos for, and once a week start uploading some of those older episodes so you can go back and experience movies that make us from the very beginning. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow us on whatever podcast platform you listen to, and we'd love it if you stopped and left a review for our podcast on whatever platform you use. And we'd love it if you liked this video, shared this video, and if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, make sure you click that bell so you get notifications when new videos go live. I think that's it. I think that's everything that I have to say. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for a great year. And until next time, we won't see you at the movies. Hello and welcome to another episode of Movies That Make Us. I'm Jake.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Val.
And today is our special Thanksgiving episode.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about the greatest Thanksgiving movie of all time.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
This is the thing. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday because I love food.
That's a good reason.
And it's like one of the only days that you can eat as much as you want. You could change pant sizes from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and nobody's going to judge you until the next day. Maybe 2 days
even
later.
Then, yeah, I was going to say it's a couple days.
Yeah, it's a couple days.
In fact, people judge you if you don't.
Right. They're
have
like,
to
are you
change
going to eat
pant
more?
sizes.
Yeah.
Aren't you going to finish what's on your plate? Ah!
I brought 8 pies.
It's like the day that you can eat everything and nap as an adult, and
Oh, yeah.
nobody's going to make you feel bad about it.
That's right. Yeah,
absolutely
it's
Best
perfect.
holiday ever.
It's perfect. And that's why it's so important to be somewhere like home or with family where you can eat and nap safely.
But what I think
I'm doing something super exciting this year.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I am going to be heading out to LA to do a Friendsgiving with my friend Mike and his family. I went to film school at USC with Mike, so he's
Okay.
been family for me for a long time. So I'm taking a road trip to LA.
Nice.
And he has 60 to 80 people at his house every year
What?
for this Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And he lives in Hollywood. You never know who's going to show up to this
Oh my
Thanksgiving.
gosh.
So I'm going to be gluttonous in my stretchy pants in front of people I don't even know. And some of these people might be celebrities.
that high
That's
five for
awesome.
you.
Yay!
That
I
is
might
cool.
be drilling and napping on someone famous this Thanksgiving
That's the dream right there. That's the dream.
in my stretchy pants.
I love calling this movie the greatest Thanksgiving movie of all time, mainly because there's not a lot of competition. But
really
that doesn't
isn't.
mean that this isn't a great,
Right.
fantastic movie.
This is what I love about this. Well, there are a lot of things I love about this movie, but one, it seems so family friendly, and you're like, oh, let's just sit down and watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's so great. And then you sit down and you always forget as you're sitting next to your grandma. Oh my gosh,
Oh.
she just swore as much as Samuel L. Jackson did in any movie Samuel L. Jackson has ever made. Yet, this is not a Tarantino movie or a Samuel L.
No.
Jackson movie, and it's Steve Martin who gets to say all the F-bombs.
Yes, he does.
I watched this movie mostly growing up from like TV or on cable.
So it was edited.
cleaned up.
The edited version.
So
right.
the first time that I watched it as a teenager unedited, I was like, oh, it's R, but it can't be that bad. I've seen it on TV. I don't remember.
And then you
I
peed your
got to that
pants.
part. I was like, yep, I can see it now. Can't show this to grandma.
Speaking of that part, I actually have it pulled up
Oh,
here.
yay!
And the car rental agent,
I've got the
I
bleep button
really
ready.
don't care for the way you're speaking to me. And Steve Martin, as Neil says, And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of effing nowhere with effing keys to an effing car that isn't effing there. And I really don't care to effing walk down an effing highway and across an effing runway to get back here to have you smile at my effing face. I want an effing car right effing now.
I think that's the most he's sworn ever.
It's a lot.
But the thing is, we've all felt this way.
I don't know if there was.
And then she's just like, excuse me?
Yeah. I don't know that there's ever a more perfect example of when it's appropriate to use those words in a movie or in a scene than that example, because you are so frustrated at that point. The
I
point
have
that he's
had
at in this
happen.
movie.
I didn't have to cross a runway, but I was taken on the shuttle bus to a car, and I walk out there, and there is no car, and then I've got to walk back and catch the shuttle bus and go back to the airport terminal to
That's
try and get
gross.
another one.
That's
And that
gross.
scene just kept going through my head.
Yeah. So that was the scene that obviously shocked me. But there is a lot of really classic stuff in this movie. I mean,
Oh my
John Candy
gosh,
is incredibly
John
talented.
Candy.
Steve Martin is the best. I mean, it's hard to compare anybody comedically to Steve
Well,
Martin.
and there is a lot of heart to this movie.
There
it's
is.
not just a silly comedy. This
No.
is
But
a real
it-
heartfelt movie.
It's comedy that we don't see anymore,
Right.
and I love it. And I
Right.
love like when the part when him and John Candy are waking up in the morning in the bed, and he's
Where's your hand?
Between two pillows.
Those are pillows.
And then they're both like, "Ah!" And then he's like, how about the Bears then this year? They could have a great team, could go all the way. Yep, could go all the way. Just totally moving past and ignoring. Let's
But, like,
talk about something
if
else.
they rebooted this movie, it would not be this
No.
movie. This movie is so great. The writing is great. The acting is great. The way they've put you in these situations that we've all been in something similar, so we can all relate to it. It's a people's movie about
It
it.
is.
You know, it's just so fantastic, but so funny, and you don't see movies like comedies like this anymore.
No, you really don't. And part of it is it's hard for. I mean, back then, this is the situations that we got in all the time because we didn't have cell phones. I mean, okay, we didn't really get in situations quite like this, but
Right.
but it happened, you know. And now it'd be like, oh, whatever, I'm going to call an Uber and get to wherever I need to go, or
Yeah,
you know,
I can go hop
change
on my
the-
phone and get a hotel.
reserve a
and-
flight on my phone or whatever.
Right,
Yeah,
right. But you had to go to the Yellow Pages and find
Yep.
a motel that was
Yellow
close by,
Pages.
and yeah, on a dialed rotary payphone. You know, I guess payphones weren't really rotary, but you know, still. But John Candy brings so much humor and heart to this role.
he does.
He's this obnoxious slob, but you love him. You know, he's the guy. He takes his shoes off on the plane next to Steve Martin. He's like, "Man, my dogs are really barking
Yes.
today."
I
Steve
still.
Martin's just like, "Ah."
I always talk about my dogs barking when I come home from work. My kids have no idea what that means.
They're like, we don't have dogs.
What are you
You
talking
said
about,
we
Dad?
couldn't have pets. For me, John Candy is one irreplaceable. Like
Yes.
there are actors now that you can compare, this actor to that actor where they have similarities and stuff like that. But you take somebody like Steve Martin and someone like John Candy, and you
chemistry.
can't compare them to another actor. And there has not been anyone like them since them.
Right.
But the way that John Candy takes this kind of slapstick humor makes it uncheesy and so effortless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the way he does it, you just think that, is he like this every day? Because he doesn't even seem like he's acting. I feel like the comedies that we see these days, I like comedies. They're, some of my favorite movies, but I feel like a lot of it is just really forced. We're
Yes.
trying to get the laugh. Where I think is when John Candy in any movie that he was in, he always was just like your uncle, your weird uncle that was always, that was always funny, that you always liked, that was a little bit annoying, but that it was so effortless what he
had
did.
so much more. People focused on his weight.
Yep.
And he was so much more than that. I mean, he was a really good actor. Plus, he was effortlessly funny.
Yeah, his timing was brilliant.
Oh, my
Always
gosh.
brilliant. And he, I think what makes it so great, Val, what you're saying, I agree. And I think that he doesn't make fun of the character.
No.
He's not playing it in a
No.
mocking way.
No.
And I think today if they remade it, it would be mocking this person,
Yeah.
or it would wouldn't be a person of weight.
No, he's very genuine about who
Right.
he is and what's
And that's
what
why
they're
you love
doing.
this character,
Yeah.
because he's playing this character very real.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And I do love his character. I mean, he's just great.
Well, the scene that I love, and to me it's the most important scene in the movie, is it's after Steve Martin goes on the big rant about how obnoxious John Candy's Dell is. And he's like, you're like a chatty Cathy doll and you just keep pulling the string. And he's like, I'd sit through a seminar with insurance salesmen and people would say, how would you do it? And I'd say, because I've been with Dell Griffith. And they'd be like, I know what you mean. And he's just ripping this poor guy. And he says, you want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yeah, you're right. I talk too much, but I also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
Love it.
And that sums up that whole character.
Well, and his character has his priorities straight, right? And Steve Martin's character doesn't.
Right.
Right. I mean, the whole reason he's in this mess is because he's pushing to the last minute before he has to be home.
He's got to get that business deal done.
Because the business deal is more important than being home with the family. The home with the family is important, but not more important than the business deal. And Dale is the opposite.
He's dying to get back. At least you think so. You know?
Right. And obviously there's the twist where he doesn't really have anything to go home to.
Right. But he keeps talking about how much he loves his wife and how much he's looking forward to seeing her.
Because he would like this other guy's life and he wouldn't take it for granted, but he doesn't have it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that scene, the way that Candy says those words, especially after just being bombarded with attacks that are nasty but hilarious, the way Steve Martin delivers it, it's sublime to me, that moment. I just love it.
I think we all feel like Steve Martin's character most of the time, but we all know someone like John Candy where we're like, oh, this happy person again is going to be around. And do I have to be? And then at the end of the day, you're like, but we wish we could be like that person. They may not be what everyone is trying to be, but they're happy with who they are.
Right. Yep.
And I think we all know that person, but most of the time we feel like Steve Martin's character where we have so many things that we have to do. We're trying to be what we think we're supposed to be.
Right.
You know, we're always stressed out, but we're the ones that are stressing ourselves out. We're the ones that are giving ourselves these weird limitations and expectations in our lives when really we would like to be like the John Candy character where, you know, we look forward to things and we're happy about things and it's okay that this is going wrong and we're just going to suck up the moment the way that it is.
And it's interesting because I had the opposite of you. I grew up on the original. So I'm watching this as like 7 or 8 years old and there's all the swears and I'm like, okay. But I actually looked up to, because of that scene, I looked up to Dell and I've tried to live my life that way. I'm not always successful. But like people will tease me at work, like, "Oh, you're a Disney guy." Yeah, that's what I am.
That's who I am.
And I mean, I'm overweight. I'm a bald guy. I'm middle aged, and I'm so excited about Disney Plus. But that's just me, and I'm okay with that. You know.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm not always that way, but I try to live up to that.
No, and Dale is a good example of that. And in that moment, you're laughing so hard at Steve Martin's insults. You're like, oh, he's so right. That
Those
guy.
are so mean.
And then Dale gives his speech, and you're like,
oh,
I am a jerk.
I'm a jerk.
But I think about that a lot because there are days that are hard, right?
Oh, definitely.
Like you mentioned, Tracy, I am the same at work. I've got my little Funko Pops on my desk. And one of my other managers was making fun of me the other day because I've got my child. I was moving desks, and he's like, oh, you got to get all your toys out. Yeah, I do. But I always think about on the hard days, my wife likes who I am. I like who I am. My kids like who I am.
Right.
And if I'm living in a way that I come home and like Ben's number 6, is so excited to see me, he's running up the stairs, Daddy's home, then I feel like I'm doing something
gotta be
right.
the best feeling in the world.
We all
Even
need
if-
a number 6 in our lives.
Number 6
pretty
is awesome. All the kids are awesome.
They are really cool, but it's true.
I like number 7 the best.
There's no number 7.
Yet.
No, not yet. Not ever.
That you're gonna bring home.
Number 6, his middle name could be Caboose. Like we are. The children train is closed.
To quote Jeff Goldblum, Life finds a way.
You're gonna bring home a dog, and that will be number 7.
Just so you know, none of this is funny.
It's all funny.
We didn't get a That's Fair, though, so that's good.
Oh, yeah, what happened to that? Why'd you bury that away?
That was a perfect chance
wasn't
to bring it
applicable,
back.
though.
It wasn't applicable. No,
But-
this movie is just so relatable in so many ways. Like, we've all been to the airport. It's
Yeah.
not we're excited to go to the airport because we know we're going on vacation, but we hate going to the airport because we hate to do all the things. And we've all had an incident where we've either missed our flight or we've been late or we're at the wrong gate or we had to get our bags checked. Like, I've had to sleep in an airport that doesn't stay open overnight.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wow.
that was a little bit crazy. They allowed it to happen because I didn't have anywhere else to go. I was there on a work trip. He got me and this younger girl of mine. We did training, and he got us standby tickets, and we missed them. And there was nowhere else to go, so they let us buy like the blanket and the little neck wedge, and
They
we
made you buy
slept
it?
on the chairs because the airport closed down, but they had like some overnight people there, and they're like, "It's cool, you guys can be here." But it was
cleaning
the
crew.
creepiest, worst night of sleep in my
Oh
life. But also at the same time, I'm like, I just slept overnight in this really old airport in
Like
California.
you lived the terminal then.
Yeah, I lived the terminal. I wish Tom Hanks would have been there to build me a fountain, but I lived it. But I think we've all had that frustrating moment, you
Yep.
know, and so I think it's all relatable. Or we've had to go to, you know, in-laws, or we've had to travel during the holidays when it's not the best time to travel. So I think,
Right.
or we've just had customer service that bites.
Yeah. Although to
Or
be
maybe you're the customer service lady that knows this is going to suck because everybody's getting, you know, the boots.
And you're trying to be
you
happy
have to
and-
smile
yeah.
and be okay. And this guy's swearing at me all the time. I've worked customer service during the holidays.
I worked in a video store for 4 years, and I worked in a bookstore for several years. Yep. I
yes.
know exactly how that is, and you just have to take it and be like,
Yeah.
okay.
Although sometimes I don't know that it's good customer service if somebody's that upset to just put a smile on your face, like, oh, it's gonna be fine. Like, anyway. But I know.
It's
Sometimes
true.
you don't have a choice. That's what
Right.
they tell you have to do.
Exactly.
So
The other scene that I think is just hysterical that kind of gets overlooked is when they end up in, I think it's Omaha, and they have the pickup truck, and the lady goes to pick up the trunk, and John Candy's like, no, that's heavy, I'll get it. And he goes, she's tough. She had twins, and they came out sideways,
Yeah.
and she didn't flinch.
Ow,
they're
you
like,
hurt my feelings.
okay.
that seems great. I love the scene where they're driving on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
And the people are like, you're going the wrong way. How do they know where we're going?
That's a good
Okay,
point.
buddy.
That whole scene where he's like playing along with the music on the steering
Yes.
wheel, and then he gets that physical comedy there. He gets his sleeve caught. He's trying to take off his sleeve because the cigarette that he threw out the window blew into the back seat. The car's starting to catch fire. It's getting hot. He's trying to take off his coat. It gets stuck on the seat adjustment. Can't get it down. Then he tries to use his other hand. That gets stuck, so he's completely
It is-
trapped.
And
He's
again,
trying to
like,
drive
all-
with his legs.
All of this choreography of what's happening in the scene, like, you don't think of the fact that they had to do all of that.
Yeah,
Like, think of
in
how
a
this,
closed
because
and
it
cramped
just
space.
seems so natural. Whereas like a movie like Tommy Boy, which I like, but I feel like they're trying to do the same thing with
Yes.
Tommy Boy.
Right.
You have two characters that are kind of the same. You've got the one that's just the nice, kind of go with it, everything's fine, and then you've got the guy that doesn't like
straight-laced,
any of that.
right.
But again, they have to put each other down to get through this comedy, and it doesn't feel as easy as Planes, Trains,
I
and
100%
Automobiles.
No,
agree.
it doesn't.
100% agree.
I
But all
agree.
of those slapsticky things happen, but you feel like in Tommy Boy, okay, this is a slapstick fall
It's the
down
next-
humor.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas in this one, you just feel like, oh, these guys are having a bad day.
It's
you
true.
know?
It feels more choreographed and more staged in Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
It
and in
totally
this one,
does.
it just feels like it's happening.
And when that happens, it feels like it's over the top.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like there's nothing in Tommy Boy that's more over the top than what's happening in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But
Right.
when you watch
You
the
feel
two,
like it is.
the one feels more, oh, that could totally happen. When it probably really, I mean, all of that happening at the same time probably really wouldn't, but you feel like it could.
Though, when the M&Ms go into the car of Tommy Boy, when he's like, I can hear you getting fatter, and then he puts the M&Ms down,
up there,
and then
they all roll in there.
They all roll into
I think you're going to be okay here, because I've got a thin candy shell. Head's got a thin candy shell.
I mean, it's a great movie, but it's not the
It's
same.
not the same.
So I love Tommy Boy. I agree.
love when he's trying to fix the seat and he can't get comfortable. And because when I was younger, we drove to Florida. My dad had business. He decided to make it a vacation. We drove cross country. We had a rental car, and my mom would just like kind of adjust the seat. And one time she had a book from the library that she was reading underneath the seat, and it got stuck. And so like the whole book like started getting crunched and kind of shredded, and then the car seat wouldn't move. And so Mom's stuck in this like terrible position, and we could not get it to fix. And then we kept referencing this movie. We're like, you were totally John Candy just now.
Things every mother wants to hear her children say. You are totally John Candy right
As
now.
long as you didn't say, I can hear you getting fatter. You're
Yeah, you're probably fine. Well,
That's what we're going to say at Thanksgiving.
I can hear you getting fatter.
Shh, they're stretchy pants.
It's fine. Sometimes a man needs stretchy pants.
These are my fancy pants.
The other scene that I absolutely love, is when the cop pulls them over the night after the fire, and he says, do you know how fast you're going? And John Candy goes, I can't say with any relative degree of accuracy how fast I actually was going, because had a small fire last night, caught it in the nick of time. And he's like, but the speedometer melted. But the radio still works. Radio comes in crystal clear. It's the darndest thing. And the cop is like, you have no functioning gauges? He's like, nope, not a one.
And it's that moment where he's just giving up, like, yep, it can't get any worse than it is, so I'm just going to go with
We're
it.
just going to spill.
I'm leaning into it at this
Do
point.
you feel like this car is fit for highway travel? He's like, oh, yeah, it's a little chilly, but we're fine. But I just love how calm he is. Oh, yeah, small fire, caught him in the nick of time. Oh, and then, like, they steer the hotel room, and Steve Martin goes to wash his face.
Oh,
and it's
yes.
John Candy's underwear.
I acted it out for those that are watching at home.
Here, you just mimed the scene.
Yeah, it was
Welcome.
awesome.
It was
Yeah,
amazing.
Dry the face, hold it. Oh, giant tidy whities.
You can get those same underwear on your way to Anaheim if you stop at the Alien rest stop. They have big tidy whitey alien underwears in there.
Really?
Fun fact.
I knew they
Stop
had
at
like
the
alien jerky and alien
go
hot
in there.
sauce.
They have lots of things.
I knew I've been once, but I didn't see the
See,
underwear.
I've
Yeah,
never
there
stopped
are-
at the alien place.
You need
It's
to.
awesome.
Okay,
Yeah,
next time
when you
we'll...
go
Alien
in
hot
March, you should-
sauce,
the
alien
kids will
jerky.
love that.
So we are stopping. There's the Terrible's largest Chevron
Yes.
gas station that we stop at.
Yeah.
That we like that.
Yeah.
But we'll have to try the alien
Yeah,
place too.
Sammy and I, we are going in January again, and we stop there every time now because it's our favorite. You can get your picture taken in the alien car with your kids out front.
Awesome.
Take
We're
a
gonna do
picture
it.
with the tidy
We'd always
whities.
stop at Whiskey Pete's right before Nevada, right in Nevada, right before the California border. We'd stop at Whiskey Pete's, and they always had the Bonnie and Clyde death car.
Oh, I
Okay.
haven't done that. I need to do
I don't know
that.
if it's still there, but it was for a long time.
We always our
But-
big stop was always in between Vegas and Anaheim was always the McDonald's at Barstow Station.
Yes, I
That's
know
inside the
exactly
train
what you're.
cars.
Yep,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking
Yes.
about.
I love that trip because there are so many places like that to just stop and do stupid stuff.
Like, I'm not
But that's
even
what a road
hungry,
trip
but we're
should
gonna
be.
stop.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I love these poor guys because every time they think they're getting ahead, life just yanks it out from underneath them, and they're both trying so hard to get Steve Martin back in time for Thanksgiving,
Yep.
and it just isn't working out.
And that's how life goes sometimes. Like
Yeah.
your best efforts, and it just all right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Obviously, I'm doing something wrong because this is not working.
You're paying for all of your karma in one day.
But they're in this. They get to the hotel, and Steve Martin's like, "I have a nice Rolex." And he's like, will you accept that? Because I don't have any credit card. My wallet was in the car that burned up.
And it burnt. Yeah.
And so then John Candy's like, I've got a Diners Club card and it's all burnt up. And then he's like, and a really nice Timex. And the guy's like, no.
Oh, it's fine.
I'll be out in the car.
I'll just wait out in
and
the
then he's
car.
sitting in the car and it's snowing and he just looks so sad. And Steve Martin finally relents and lets him in. And then they bond over mini bottles of alcohol.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm going to Jamaica, man. And it's this terrible Jamaican accent. He's like, do you want rum from Jamaica?
Well, there are so many parts of this where you think Steve Martin's character's kind of turning the corner, right? And, and I think that's how it happens, right? It's always kind of that slow, like, okay, I'm making... And that's one of those scenes where he lets him in and takes, obviously he's not totally heartless.
Right,
doesn't want to leave him out in the snow, but... Yeah, I love that. Got a nice Timex.
Really, really nice Timex. And the guy's like, I'm going to have to say no. But Steve Martin's like, I have an American Express, but it's burnt, and John Candy's like, I have a Diners Club card.
Yeah. Which, kids, if you're listening at home, Diners Club is... I don't even think it's around anymore.
I don't think
it?
so.
Yeah, but it was the joke of credit cards for a lot of years.
Diners Club
Until
card.
Discover came along.
Was this a John Hughes film? Did he direct it?
I think he was involved in it. Let's find out.
I think that he might have written and directed.
He did direct it. John
Okay.
Hughes did direct it.
That's what I thought. And I think that's where a lot of that heart comes from.
Well, and that's... All of his movies seem to do that, right? They've got great comedy. It's over the top at times, or you think it's over the top, but it seems to work.
Works within that film. Yeah.
But then there's always heart to it, and there's always kind of a message behind it. And this movie definitely falls in that category. So good.
John Hughes is an underrated director.
Is he? Because I thought people really liked him.
Well, they do, but people will also kind of be like, yeah, but it's because he does a certain type of genre.
He does. And he does a genre that typically isn't going
not
to get...
edgy or critically acclaimed.
He does movies that even today wouldn't be Oscar nominees or award nominees or things like that because they're comedies. And comedy has always... and comedy's always been one of those genres that it's kind of overlooked as far as taken seriously.
Right.
But he's, I think, one of the best at what he does.
Oh my gosh,
Kevin
comedy
Bacon
in a lot
is
of
in this
times.
movie?
That's right. Kevin Bacon is
He's
steals
the
Steve
taxi
Martin's
racer.
car,
Yeah.
cab. Yeah.
What?
But it's so.
Michael
so
McKean
good.
is the stage trooper.
Yep.
So can you say, with any degree of accuracy, how fast you were actually going?
I can't.
Nope. No functioning dials. Not a one. But the radio comes in clean. Oh my gosh. There's
Dylan
so many
Baker,
quotes.
like all of these people that we love.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of the bit actors, I mean, the lady Edie McClurg, who's,
I love her.
I mean, she's fantastic, and she's perfect as a rental car agent who he's swearing at. It's fantastic.
You do more ball handling in 1 minute than Larry Bird does in an hour.
Okay.
Just some of these quotes are just so funny. So good. Oh man.
Yeah.
But that's it's indicative of the time,
Yeah.
and it's just, but it's one that's kind of stood the test of time too.
It does.
I think
You
a lot
can
of people
watch this movie now and still enjoy it as much as when it first came out.
Well, and I love that when they're on the airplane and Neil says, I don't want to be rude. Not much of a conversationalist, and I got some work to do. And Dell goes, don't let me stand in your way. Please don't let me stand in your way. Last thing I want to be remembered is an annoying blabbermouth. Nothing grinds my gears worse than some chowderhead that doesn't know when to keep his big trap shut. If you catch me running off with my mouth, just give me a poke in the chubs.
Yeah. Yeah. Because most people don't know when they're actually being obnoxious and someone has to and he's
Too
Give me
much.
a poke in the chubs.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either, but
I don't think I'd ever just offer that up though. Well, I'm sure I know what it means,
Just put that on a shirt.
Talked recently about Netflix and chill. Make sure you know what that means. Asking someone to give you a poke in the chubs. I just kind of want to make sure I know what it means first.
Right after the ball handling comment. I don't know.
Lots of stuff going on in this movie. It's not just the scene where they wake up with the hand between the legs, which it's still
That's the
one of my
quickest way
favorite.
to get pink eye.
oh,
To sleep with your hand between someone's legs.
At the pillows. Cheeks. Yep. Sorry, that's another movie quote.
hey Jake, how about those Bears this year? Huh? Heck of a team. picking them to go all the way.
That's responsible of us to put that out there. That's the quickest way to get. We want to prevent people
PSA,
from getting.
kids.
Yeah, we don't want you to get pink eye.
So don't stick your hand between people's cheeks.
It's true.
No poking people in the chubs.
Why were
and
you
won't
kissing
get
my
pink
ear?
eye. You have bagel in your hair. I don't know. I didn't do it.
Anyway,
We should say we're at Watchtower.
We are at
Coffees
Watchtower.
and
Or
Comics.
like one of our last times before
Yes.
they go to
New
their new
location.
location.
It's going to be exciting to be in a new location, but it's kind of sad.
So
It's been-
December 1st is their last day, and you can still come down and buy all of their like
art,
artwork,
the
and they have
furniture.
mugs and all of that stuff. So you can have a piece of the old Watchtower before
Yeah.
they go to the new Watchtower.
true. Should we buy like one of the booths
Where will we stick
where we
it?
like record? I don't know.
I'm
I was
where
hoping
would
you
we
guys have
stick
room
it?
someplace.
I don't even have a house.
She's
Oh yeah,
moving.
that's a good point.
I
Good
have
point.
a room in a basement.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if we got you the booth, it would be something to build the house around.
Oh.
Where? Like under the underpass? Under the overpass? Where am I living right now? Building a house around.
It's not much, but I do
I
have a booth.
I have furniture and
An old
storage.
restaurant booth
We should just get
and a
it.
wobbly table.
Yeah.
We should just stick it on like one of those oh my gosh, you guys. We should stick it on a trailer and just take it with us wherever we go to
The
podcast.
mobile podcasting.
Yeah.
We're
The
building
MPU.
our new MPU mobile podcast
I can
unit.
redo these seat covers with like Star Wars or Marvel.
Oh, yes.
That'd be nice.
That would be cool.
If they'll sell it to us for $5, I'll buy it. Because that's all.
Let's go
I
talk to
have.
Mike and Corey.
Mike, Corey, we've got an offer for you.
It's the quickest $5 you'll ever make.
$5 for a booth.
I want my $2.
That's another movie that I
Another
love.
John Hughes movie, isn't it?
Yep. He has good quotes in his movies.
His movies are always very quotable,
Oh, man.
for sure.
We should do a John Hughes episode. That
That'd
would
be fun. I'd be good with
We
that.
totally should. There's a,
Write
and
that
I think
down.
people don't always know what he's been involved in because
Right.
he's even
Right.
outside of directing, he's done
Yeah.
a lot of writing that movies that you're going to be familiar with.
Well,
I
he
believe he
even
wrote
got-
like Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He even got non-credited screen. He would come in and he was a screen doctor. He would fix scripts that were in bad shape, and then didn't do enough of it to get credit for it. But that was kind of their go-to guy for quite a
Yeah.
while. So,
And he's
I
dead
wish-
now.
He has passed on.
unfortunately, yeah. So, in the coming weeks, we've got some exciting stuff. We've
Yeah,
got
we do.
Star Wars, the
Star
Rise
Wars
of
is coming
Skywalker
up. Holy
coming
cow.
out.
So we're going to do a couple things with that. We're going to do a zero spoiler episode.
Yep.
And then we're going to do a deep dive just into the Star Wars saga.
And that'll come out about a month later
Yeah,
after the
we're
movie's
gonna-
been out for a little while.
We're
Yeah.
going to jump into the mission with our good friend Blake Castleman.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite movies. Great film. Yeah.
We are going
It
to
was
deep
really
dive into Stephen King, which is you're
Yes.
getting super excited because we're going to
Yes.
do The Shining and Doctor Sleep.
Which Dr. Sleep, highly recommend. Go check it out.
I didn't think I was going to like it, and I
It
do.
is. It's a horror film, but it's not your typical horror film. This is a really good thinking movie. Incredibly well acted. Mike Flanagan did a great job directing.
Awesome.
So highly recommend. And it's not doing well at the box office, so
It's
catch
so
it on the big
weird.
screen.
They
Yeah.
put it out at a weird time,
Yeah.
I
They
think.
did.
Yeah.
They did. They
And
did.
I
Go
get
see
that
Dr.
it
Sleep.
takes time. It takes place this time of year, right?
Right.
And so it makes sense from that aspect, but I
Yeah.
really feel like a pre-Halloween release may have boosted
Yeah.
it a little bit.
Yeah.
The thing that I think is weird is that Cats and Star Wars is coming out on the same,
Same
day.
day.
Well, that's good.
Don't know if I
Is
dare
Taylor
see
Swift
Cats.
gonna win at the Star?
I'm
It's
a
not
little
going anywhere.
nervous.
You know what?
I'm a little
It
nervous
kind
because
of-
Cats looks really good. I think it's really going to give Star Wars a run for its money.
He tried to sell
The
it.
look that Val just gave me.
If looks get killed, buddy.
No, it wasn't a killing look.
Taylor
It was
Swift
just
just
that nobody's
released-
buying it, pal.
Taylor Swift just released a song from the movie, and it doesn't suck. I just.
She sounds
I
like
mean,
she's got a
Idris
British
Elba is in
accent.
this film.
Elba is great.
Yeah.
But
I mean, maybe
that movie
as a cat
is
he'll
really
still be sexy, but I don't know.
Well, Depending on the audience, I think that may be the case. There's an audience out there that will probably agree with that.
I don't know. Nobody's watching it that weekend. Are you kidding me?
No.
It's
I
going
mean,
to be
I know a bunch of people that will
Some
watch it that
grandmas will
could
go see
care
it.
less about Star Wars.
There's an audience out there. I mean, there's probably overlap, I'm sure, of people who like Cats the musical and Star Wars. But I think there's a large portion of the Cats audience and a large portion of the Star Wars audience that doesn't overlap.
Not a lot of
Yeah.
crossover.
And so I think there's going to be plenty of people that don't want to see Star Wars and are going to be totally fine with seeing Cats.
Yeah.
But
Still
I'm not one of
odd. I
them.
mean, those cats have balls to go up against Star Wars.
So they didn't take Bob Barker's advice then.
No.
Makes sense.
Hairballs.
That might be the worst sound in existence when a cat is coughing up a hairball and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it always happens in the middle of the night when they do it.
Night. Yep.
And they like come into your room to let you know
Right on your
that's what
bed.
they're
Yep.
doing.
I know,
Here we go.
Cats are dicks.
Hey, by the way. Well, thank you for that sound.
Well, and then we got, we're going to do an Oscars. Once the Oscars are announced,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about what was nominated, what should win, and what should have been nominated that wasn't.
Yeah, and I'd like to put together a car movie episode because
Yes.
I've seen now twice. I've seen Ford versus Ferrari, and it's probably one of my favorite movies of the year. And I would really love
Awesome.
to talk about that, plus some other car movies that are amazing.
I
So.
want to, I think I'm taking my dad to that tomorrow.
Nice.
Nice.
My dad loved it. It
Yeah.
was such a good time. So go see
They
it.
don't make movies like that
gave it an A,
anymore.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's saying something. When Val gives it an A, it's pretty solid.
That is true. You
And
don't-
it's rewatchable.
You
I've
are,
already seen it twice, and I'm going to see it
Yeah.
again.
you are not easy on giving out the A's.
No, but B's a good grade for
It
a
is.
movie.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
There's no easy A with Val.
Yeah. I'm an easy A.
Yeah, you are.
And
Let
somewhere,
me toss that softball over the plate and you just swing.
and somewhere in all of that, we are going to talk about Christmas movies. We'll have one episode about
Yes.
Christmas
Yeah.
movies, I'm sure.
I think we should talk about a few Christmas movies in one
the
episode.
Rankin Bass movies or TV series are having like a 50th anniversary or something.
Wow.
You can get paid $1,000 to watch 25 Hallmark movies.
I heard that.
They'd have
That's
to double it
disgusting.
for me.
But I know some people, like my roommate, she watches at least 3 a night.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be great for her. I go downstairs to the basement when that's occurring.
I had a former coworker she lived for this time of year.
It's
Loved
the
the
same
Hallmark.
story. There's a lady, and she's deciding to change her lifestyle, so she goes off to a small town. She bakes cookies with someone. They end up getting married, and they live happily ever after.
And that's, I mean, it's very true to life. That's how it always works out.
I just need to bake cookies with someone, and then I'm...
I've
Well, but you
heard,
gotta go to a small town.
Oh.
I mean, Salt Lake's not huge.
So I got to go to Delta, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to Delta.
The thing is, small towns work.
Chrissy Teigen is from Delta, and she is married to John Legend, and
True.
so maybe I should go to Delta.
But the thing is, the reason why the small town works is because every small town's got that one guy who's extremely good looking,
But how do I
who
know?
hasn't gotten married yet.
Right.
How do I know which one has that guy?
You know, all of the
All
towns
the-
do.
all the
All the
towns.
small
And
towns have
there's
them.
one guy that's not taken still.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
he
yeah.
gay?
No, he's not. He's just too cool for all the women in the small town.
Okay.
So he needs a big
He's
city
busy.
girl.
He's like the vet of the town, and
Yeah.
he's super busy all the time. Or
Okay.
like waitress, he's the town OBGYN. You know.
Yeah.
What? Scooch down a little bit closer to the end of the table. Just a little bit closer.
Well,
So I
there
give
is
Planes,
that.
Trains, and Automobiles a B+.
Yeah.
What are you gonna give it?
I think it's an A- for me, just because it is so rewatchable
Yeah.
every year.
I'm gonna be A minus. This is one of my favorite comedies. It's
Yeah.
so stinking quotable and
Yeah.
timeless. I just love this movie.
I do love this movie. Lots of fun stuff coming up. I don't know where to go sometimes.
He took his glasses off.
He hasn't taken his glasses off for a while.
I know that this time
We've had
deserved it.
several episodes.
This
that
time
we've
deserved
not-
it. It was the OBGYN comments that just put it over the edge.
Waitress. That is a legitimate movie.
He brought it up, and I just took it home.
That is a legitimate movie. I'm
I
glad you
didn't just
specified.
say. I didn't
know.
just say OBGYN.
I
There was a
know.
reference to it.
It wasn't. wasn't your reference. It's where we went after the reference.
That's not on me, man. That's not on me.
Yeah, he
No.
set me up and I just home runned it. Yeah.
Home runned it?
Yeah, home runned it.
Yep. We should definitely turn home running into a verb. Just over here home running it. I like that. Like, I really do. We're using that from now on.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, we hope you all have a happy, wonderful Thanksgiving.
Eat all the foods.
Absolutely.
I have to be careful because I'm on pre-diabetic caution, so I got to be careful.
need to
But I'm
do
going to
for
be
you, man.
good.
It doesn't count on Thanksgiving, though.
It does,
I know.
unfortunately. But
I know.
if it doesn't snow, I might do a half marathon that morning.
Oh, you're gonna do the.
I'm
the
thinking about
turkey-
the Thankful 13
yeah, Thankful
over
13.
in Thanksgiving Point. But the last weather report that I've seen, and we're still a couple weeks out, but it's saying possibly an inch of snow.
Wow.
If that happens, I'm not doing it. If it's cold, that's fine. I can run it. But,
You know you don't have to run, right?
yeah.
No, I think he does at this point.
At
Like,
this
I
point,
think
I
he's
do.
hit a point where he does. While we're talking, though, about being safe and happy and
Yeah.
everything for Thanksgiving, I do want to talk a little bit about what you're doing in December, Tracy.
Ooh.
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
love to
yeah.
give that a
Talk
little
about that.
airtime.
Yeah, yeah.
So on December 7th, myself and several other people who are wonderful and crazy, we're going to sleep outside that night. There's a group called the Big Sleep Out. It's an international group that's putting this on. So there's people in India, there's people in Indonesia, people all across the U.S., over in Europe, who are all sleeping out that day to raise awareness for people who are experiencing homelessness, who don't have a place to stay, for refugees. And then we are doing a fundraising, and half the proceeds go to UNICEF and half the proceeds go to the Utah Food Bank.
Nice.
We were set a goal for 500. We're now at 610.
Nice.
So we're super happy about that. We can put the links in the comments.
Yep.
Please, like I said, it goes to UNICEF and to the Utah Food Bank. So we're going to be out in the cold that night. About a week later, on the winter solstice, they actually have a great event at Pioneer Park where they honor all the people who passed away this year on the streets of Salt Lake, and they do a candlelit vigil, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's something that's really dear to my heart, is trying to help out with people experiencing homelessness. So, yeah, that's what we're doing there.
We'll post a link about that on our Facebook page as well, so that
Absolutely.
you can go and check it out.
Yeah, I mean, you're at 120%, you said, or so. on your-
121% to goal. So we're
But
super
we could
excited
still
about that.
use more, so
Yeah.
keep
Definitely.
donating.
Utah Food
200%.
Bank
We
is
go
an
for
amazing
200%
group.
between now and December 7th. We'll
Let's
put
do
it
it.
on
Let's do it.
Facebook and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing. There's a lot of
You'll
reasons
probably
why.
donate to the food bank anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. This is just another way to do it.
It's going to make sleeping outside a lot warmer, knowing that we're doing some good.
Yeah.
I was like,
Absolutely.
if it's just us and we raise like $20, that's going to kind of suck.
Yeah, and I think and this is a good time to talk about that kind of stuff. We often talk about the things that we're grateful for and,
Yeah.
and things like that at Thanksgiving. And
Well, if I can get schmaltzy, I am really grateful for the both of you, because this podcast
Aw.
is so much fun. I absolutely love podcasting with both of you, and just really grateful I'm a part of this.
I love that too, but I love that people actually listen as
Right,
well. Like,
yeah.
thanks for listening to our mumbling.
We love our audiences.
We
Yes.
just get up, we come here every weekend and we talk about stuff we like, and you actually listen. So
yeah,
thank
we
you.
really love that. We
Comment
appreciate
and
it.
write back to us, and that's fantastic. Yeah.
It is great, and it's fun when people know who we are or who have listened to us. When we run into it. It's really
I've
great.
had people
It's-
be like, I recognize your voice. And I'm like, hi.
Does it usually happen after you laugh? Because that would probably.
That I get a lot. That's true.
Are we going to have like something to announce about maybe a new logo at the beginning of the year?
I
Yes.
hope so. We
Yes,
are
yes, yes.
we are working on it.
We love our current logo, the VHS cassette.
But we're working on something a little more
Some
fun.
a little more our
Yes.
style.
You know, when we did that logo, I think we didn't know
what we were
each
gonna
other
do.
as well as we
Yeah.
do now.
Yeah.
We didn't know the show as well as we do now.
Right.
And we want something that's a little bit more representative of
Exactly.
the show.
Yeah, so that'll be
So
coming soon
first
too.
of the year, hopefully
We'll have some
that
merch
ready.
maybe.
Yay!
That'll be
Yay.
awesome.
Yay.
So much fun. You guys are great. I'm thankful for you guys
Love
too.
you guys, group hug.
Oh, this is the best Thanksgiving ever.
Can we go eat something now?
Yeah, let's go
Okay.
get some turkey.
All right.
All right, thanks for listening. We won't see you at the movies. Gobble gobble.
This has been an Age of Geek media production.